This meeting is being recorded.
He's in the room. Welcome in, Grover. Should I say Airgram? Let me know if you can hear me okay, man.
Let me just see. Can you hear me?
I can hear you good now, man.
Stereo. Wait, just to select my microphone, loudspeaker, creative Bluetooth audio. Just want to select my other loudspeaker.
Wait, I frozen? No, just a little bit delayed. There we go.
Okay, now I can hear you. Cool.
We made it. I literally was having a short conversation with you to begin with, and I'm like, wait a second, is Grover actually here? I go over and I just see 3 assistants.
Yeah, I've got the code for your for the, I don't know, maybe I don't know how Zoom works, but there's probably a different code that I use and ask for a password. Anyway, I'm here now.
It's weird.
All well with you?
I don't know why I did, but yeah, I noticed like normally the assistants don't have a screen when they join, but since this one was like, you see how it shows Airgram on the screen?
Yes. Oh, yes. I don't know what the
I thought that was like
Airgram.
your
I
camera or something.
don't know what Airgram. I don't know. Airgram is also something like
Like Otter.
Otter, like Otter. Yes. Now because I was looking, just different versions, and so different, AppSumo alternative. So I go on Google and I search lifetime deal or AppSumo alternative. So yeah, that was what I was looking for.
AppSumo,
but anyway,
the hookup spot. How you been, man?
So no, very well. I think I've got a bit of I'm sending the survey messages out. Mike posted a few days ago in the survey in the support hub with 3 questions, and I used his questions, and I've had good, I think I've had better results with his questions than with mine. They were very, very similar, but I think there was just some subtle differences that I asked. I think
those questions. I saw those questions you were asking with like the multiple different prompts to make it easier on them just to kind of say A, B, or C.
Yes, that's a one. Yeah. So I asked about. I think that one of the main differences was where I asked for number C, and then all of the above. But okay, the results that I got from the ones that I asked from Mike was, it was the same. Let me just pull it up. I just wanna. Otherwise, I'm gonna. It's simple things, but everybody's asking the same. So number one, it is sales opportunities, standing and a B standing out from and being different is just what I changed over the word. And number C is attracting the right people for your business. So every single one, everybody answered C, attracting the right people to their business. And I think when I was a estate agent, yes, that would be nice, but deep down, you'd like to get, you'd like to get the sellers, because if you don't have sellers, you're not going to get, but also the correct sellers, people that are you could say it both. It's really going both ways. And I'm just thinking, when we were speaking today, it is all about the messaging, the way that you see that one says in your content, addressing the people that you would like to attract in your business. So if you, for example, if you say, if I would, I'm putting the horse, the cart in front of the horse or whatever. I don't know if that, but I'm just thinking of, I'm going maybe ahead of what we were maybe talking tonight. It's just that saying directly. If I'm looking for sellers that are motivated to sell, I could say, for example, in some way in my advertising, in my messaging on my content, if you are close to foreclosure, if there's somebody foreclosure, or if it's a deceased estate and you've got 3 kids hanging on the door waiting, I want to speak with you. And so that way, be very more specific in the people that you are that are targeting. Or I'm the person that only deals with hunting ranches, or I'm only the person of a certain proportion and size.
And I thought just through previous conversation on that before, wasn't kind of the plan to be towards game real estate agents, right? Game farms.
Yeah, I think there are fewer of them, much fewer of them around. Yeah, I could say I was thinking of residential as well, because it's the same principle. It's basically the same principle, and I'm just thinking, everybody complains about this. Everybody's got the same problem, but I
think the solution to the problem is the same.
It's the same. Yeah.
The messaging towards those people.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So it's the same.
What bucket of people would you say you align with the most? That you know that you could confidently speak to the clearest? If you were deciding that the game farm maybe is like too niche down, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with opening it up a little bit more, because I think at the end of the day, again, there's an overlap in terms of the problems that you're solving and solutions that you're providing, where that's not really changing. It's more so just speaking to those people.
You know what I was thinking of? I was thinking of the game farm, because that is where I was like 2 years ago. I was thinking of game farm coaching, or doing what I'm doing, but for other people who are game farms. So that is a niche within a niche, you could say, or a segment in a segment, something like that. That was where I was. And yeah, it's you know what happened today. I'm going to mention to you something today that happened, not with me, my older brother. He's doing exactly the same job as he was also a game hunting estate, and he had a transaction where he made a load of money and a commission. You know what? I just feel like he made, let's say if it's $1 million, it's $1 million in our in one-on-one. He made $1 million in one transaction. And I was just thinking, when he told me that yesterday, I thought, good for you. I thought just I've chosen my path. I know why I'm doing it, what I'm doing, and he's doing what he's doing, and yeah, I think it's just like a mindset thing. Is I'm struggling on here for another, how long it will be, but I've got my reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, and good for him that he's made his $1 million.
100%. Yeah. And you said he's your brother?
Yes, my older brother. Yes. I've actually when I was in 6FA, I've given him some tidbits of what I'm doing here, and he has done one or two of the things that I've given him, and it's worked, and it did work for him. People. I thought today that there are people that when they are so long, because he's been in the business like 25 years, mostly struggling to survive. But there are people that are so long in doing something for like him for 25 years, 20 or 25, at least 27 years now by now, that
till they hit the tipping point.
Giving him, he's giving him something new. They are set in their ways, and it takes a while for people to accept new ways, or to be open to new methods and ways of doing things. I don't think I want to. It's probably not necessary to go in further to that unless it would help you to.
I think you're especially spot on, especially with like even more like middle-aged folks as well, like with just the evolution of online marketing and technology online. I know from experience early on when I got started and I was working for my family business, my dad was always one that was very open to like me incorporating my new ideas for their store to help grow their store, because he didn't understand the online world. But my mom, you could tell that she was very tentative and like in all of those ideas. Like for her, it was more so like she didn't like the change of it. She was used to what worked before, what was classic, and what she liked that represented their store, but she didn't like the change coming with the online world. And I think you'll probably run into that with some folks in the real estate game too.
Yes. That's what's going to happen. I think a lot of people are technologically challenged. It's just but I'm gonna, the longer I'm here, I'm just thinking I'm not going to solve everybody's problem. I've got a specific thing that I'm going to do, and just concentrate on that specific thing, and not even when I'm seeing there are agents that I've seen that their pages look very nice and very neat, but I can still see after I've done the profile review that I've learned from you, I could still see there is something that I can do there, but it's just going to be a bit more difficult, more challenging to do. But I'm always up for a challenge and to learn something new, because if something's difficult, if you do it enough, it becomes easier.
Yep. I think too, I guess, well, like even if you can start with the folks that you know that you for sure on the surface can help, that are steps behind you, that don't have the things in place in their online marketing that you can help solve, like those are the people that were going to be even easier ones you can impact much easier.
You know, my mind is, this is probably one of my minds. In my mind, I'm thinking all the estate agents are making, they are all making big money, all of them. It's either that or people are not willing to admit that they are struggling, because I think most are struggling. I mean, I would guess even people who's been in business, like my older brother, he's been, 25, 27 years. Even him, I know he's struggling to
I agree. I think it's a combination
make a
of
sale.
both. I think, like, even as you mentioned when you were in the real estate side, like there's definitely many other people out there that were trying to do some of the things that you were doing with marketing and seeing like a slow return on actually seeing leads come in and results come in. And that's, to me, that's a known fact. And I think there's also another bucket of people that are doing well, but it doesn't mean they don't want to do better.
Just one question. I just want to make sure you're recording this call.
I am. Yep, we're recording.
Okay, thank you. Thank
We
you.
got that
Cool.
now.
Because yeah, I usually go and listen to the calls after we've had a conversation.
Yep, got that. I'll make sure to get that in your folder. Post today's call. I actually just put in a little prompt on ChatGPT as we're talking here, just to see if it had any insight on how many game farm real estate agents there are in Africa. And it said the number of game real estate agents can vary depending on the region and market, but game farms are typically associated with countries that have a significant wildlife population, like Africa. So it doesn't say a specific amount, but it says like that's the hub for most of them. So I think that aligns pretty well.
I think it would be, the most would be in South Africa. It is very commercial. It's highly commercial. I mean, there's no. If I would say to an American, I've told Americans there's elephants running around here and they believe it, but actually the whole country is the whole country, everything, every parcel of land, every square centimeter or foot is privately owned, with a border, with a fence, with a perimeter, and so the only place you'll see an elephant is if you go to a national park. Everywhere else they've been wiped out. Okay, but that's just off the
I guess
topic.
that's probably my mindset too. I feel like there's a lot more just natural, like giraffes, elephants, different wildlife animals just roaming around.
Yeah. We live. We live. Our closest, like we could say, is village from where we live is about 60 miles. So in between, there's nothing. There's just bush, trees, endless trees, and the biggest town closest to us is about 90 miles from here. So we live there's probably more people in your Madison, Wisconsin town than in the whole province where we were, in the whole area we live. So
very open.
So yeah, I'll see when I go to our neighboring village or town, there's it's unusual. I'll always see wildlife, giraffe or whatever, antelope. They just roaming next to the road. But anyway,
so with that aside, let's talk on offer. Like where we left off, kind of on suggestions last time in the chat and your conversation with Mike, just kind of fill me in on what the latest update on that.
I haven't really spoken to Mike. It's only what we've got. I haven't spoken to him again since. So we've only spoken on on previous Thursday's calls, but it was just a few minutes about it. And what I asked about the question about the survey, and then Mike sent this. So he. And also in the support hub, you wrote the profile heading, and I wrote that out as well. Changed it on LinkedIn, only on LinkedIn so far. But as far as it goes with a offer, I don't really have something that I can present to some, like say this is $47. I'm not really sure what it is yet.
Do you the offer template that I shared on our last call? Did you happen to get that completed until then, that we could just pull that up and look?
Let me just go and have a look at it. I think I did complete it.
Yes, you did.
Uh,
I have it pulled up here. I remember actually looking at this before. Okay, so what we need to do is simplify this today so we can actually flesh this into a formal offer. If we look at, like, even you have the doc pulled up your way.
I'm gonna do it, get it open right now. Let's see where I put it.
I can actually drop it. I'll drop it.
If you can drop me the link, it's going to be maybe a bit quicker.
Yep, just sent that in the Zoom chat.
Got it. Chat.
Here, I'll slow it down.
Okay, got it.
Okay. So we have this pulled up here. Look into this further. Starting from the top in this first bucket, what present pain are we solving? So you listed a good amount of pains here, and we'll just kind of run through these. How to build your own private Facebook group. Content. Okay, so notice how a lot of these listed are more about what they're going to learn from you, or what ideas that you had they're going to learn.
Yes.
But we've been talking a lot on, like, especially with what you've been doing with your audience research. What we want to try to do in this bucket here is really just simplify this down to 1 to 3, ideally 1 to 2 core pains that we're going to be essentially talking through and providing some solutions on in this masterclass. So with us doing a smaller, lower ticket thing to begin, we're going to be narrowing the focus towards essentially those 1 to 2 core pains that we feel are the most pressing for these folks, which I think you're starting to realize, and you can recap me again. I think that's lead generation, you said, was the one.
Lead generation, yes. It's attracting the right clients. It's lead generation, because it's lead generation. That's what it all boils down to.
Attracting or generating consistent qualified leads.
That's accurate.
Anything else that you would add to that? Or is it, like, even if this is just a one pain that we go in on, this could work. Like, this is perfect. But if there's a little bit more related to this, feel free to elaborate too. We can just
I would say it's standing out. That's the second one. I would say, when I'm just thinking back to the 2 years or 5 years, this was my core pains. You could say these two were my core pains, and then there were some other things are more like procedural related. So, for example, that people have to sign a sole mandate or something. So it's not something that this is the core problem. It's file leads and standing out from the competition.
Yeah. So with that problem in mind, what is the core outcome or promise that we're working to get to? And I think we can actually come back to our chat here, because I know we talked a lot on that before.
That is, it was like a certain amount of leads per week or per month.
Where did I put that message at? It's in here somewhere.
It is. It's under my name. It's about. Let's see. I'm gonna get it. Scroll through it. No. It should be around the 9th.
That's why.
Should be around the 9th of May or 7th of May, somewhere like that.
Here we go. this is kind of an idea that we had. Give me 7 days and I'll show you how to leverage.
Yep.
I'll show you how to leverage Facebook for your game farm real estate business, generate a consistent stream of X leads a week, a month, and become the go-to agent in your local area. Like, notice how this line alone is wrapping solutions to the two problems: leads
Yes.
and authority. Very simplified with this. So now let's come back to the sheet. And again, like you mentioned before, your job with this class especially is not to solve every problem. We're just solving a small select of problems. I think something like this is where we're actually moving in the right direction of a promise that wraps specifically towards those two select problems. Now, for you with this, like let's say we plug in for your game. Actually, what I would see is a little page was like this, for example. It could say a top line, attention, game farm estate agents. Give me 7 days and I'll show you how to leverage Facebook. Let's see what this. Give me 7 days. I'll show you how to leverage Facebook organically. Attention game farm estate agents. Give me 7 days and I'll show you how to leverage Facebook organically to generate a consistent stream of X leads and become the go-to agent in your local area through my OAC method. How do you feel with this?
That's I think that's good. It's narrow and it tells exactly what it does.
And like I kind of mentioned that message before, I really want to make sure that you're aligned with it. I think it's one thing for it to sound good, but another thing for you to be able to confidently sell it. I think we want to try to find a balance that's pushing that while also maintain some comfort in the fact that you're confident in being able to deliver on that. But at the end of the day, when it comes to these master classes, this isn't something where you're doing hands-on work with these people to achieve these outcomes. You're simply just sharing the information with them and what you've learned. And this is where people tend to have less of an expectation of like, oh, I'm going to use this masterclass to generate an additional $10,000, etc. It's a smaller promise. It's a smaller offer, which means it doesn't have to have a massive promise or a massive outcome tied to it. We can keep it small.
Yeah, I feel if I have a person so if it's 7 days, it's one. How do you propose it would be? The execution part would be, is that 1 hour every day, or what? Or how does it work with?
So kind of we talked about before, coming back here too in chat. I put down 7 days here, but
Or 7 weeks or whatever, or.
So even if this shows 7 days, whoops, come back over to this. Even if this shows 7 days, it doesn't mean that it has to be a 7-day workshop. It could mean it's a 1-day workshop with a recommended implementation phase of like, they get 7 days to apply what they learned to start seeing the benefits of it.
Okay.
I would rather not see you push to do a 7-day workshop right away, because that's going to be, it's a big hurdle to tackle. It's a lot to do right now. Even for me, as I had my first 6-figure year, doing a 5-day workshop it was a lot of work. So I think we start small with a 1 to 2 day workshop.
Yeah, that sounds good. I think, I was just thinking maybe also like for a 45-minute, 45 minutes or 2 hours, to pack in something in 2 hours. I think you can do a lot in 2 hours. You can do quite a lot.
Yeah.
Or 1 hour today and 1 hour the next day.
Yeah, I think it could be exactly that. And we could even flip this to give me 2 days. That way it's more specific. That way it's a 2-day training and you're showing them how to do this in 2 days. You're not guaranteeing that they'll be able to do this in 2 days. You're just saying, give me 2 days and I'll show you how to do this.
That sounds reasonable, because when it comes to the execution part, I'm not sure if I'm running the. I would do the profile. I would do the profile review. Look at the heading. talk about the value posts and the kind of posts that people can do. Give him a bit of about storytelling, video, why video is important, the personal brand, why a personal brand is important.
Okay, we're going to simplify this and talk about this now, because I think if we work towards what the delivery looks like, it's going to help you step back from there and see like what the training will look like for them.
Yeah, because if I know if I have the delivery, it will also help me with the content, with what I'm going to speak about in my content delivery. I mean, in my advertising process.
And that's honestly, I think that's what we take the rest of our time today. We hammer out delivery now that we know the problems that we're attacking and the promise that we're offering. And then once you're clear on this today, I'd like to see you come back and take the components that we map out here and just update this document so everything's cleaned up with it. And then all we're going to do from there is start putting this into a simple document or a video that's explaining the offer, and we can start putting out content around it.
Cool.
So we know, let's talk about what we know right now of game farm estate agents. Through the last examples that we talked on, some of which folks that are using Facebook Organic, that are these estate agents, they have a Facebook profile. They're not really using it, as we talked on, and they're pretty much just using this as just a way to post in real estate groups.
Yeah, this spray and spray, or what spray and pray.
Exactly. Spray and pray. They're posting in these groups, praying that people come to them, reach out to them, contact them, etc. This to me is what you're basically going against in this entire match spot. You're showing them how to stop spraying and praying and hoping for leads to come in off this rented attention that they have in these groups, and instead stepping into a system that they can use to guarantee that people will flow into their pipeline and they'll generate leads. So what
and the people that the people that I've messaged so far, the estate agents, they were all in the group, in one specific group, but they post in all the, they post in dozens of other groups. So yeah, it's a spray and pray,
which is very similar to what you were doing too as well early
exactly.
on.
Yep.
So what I would do, even to begin, is we talk very high level and beginning the presentation. I think it's showing how, number one, showing how the profile basically served this entire process. And I think it's just beginning, basically showing that, like, hey, this is essentially your personal brand hub. And right now, what most estate agents are doing is they're using this profile and they're just posting listings in these groups. And you can illustrate that there with a slide. It could even be a screenshot here of showing this. New listings. And in turn, hoping that people come reach out to them. So in today's presentation, I'm going to show you guys how to hope less and instead take more control over this process for your own business. And we know we need to develop this more. So what I would articulate to them with this is essentially I like to put it into buckets that we're really trying to fulfill in this funnel. So the Facebook profile is essentially the piece that's helping them. Well, it's their audience. They're building their audience on this profile. If they're posting in target groups, say target real estate groups, this is helping them drive relevant traffic. Now, I think what these agents are doing is they're not looking at these groups as like relevant traffic sources. They're more so just looking to put this post in front of there and pretty much hope that people reach out, not in the sense where like they go back to their profile, click on their banner or take an action on their banner, but instead just like go from seeing the listing to reaching out to them wanting to buy.
Exactly.
And what we want to explain to them is the fact that it takes more touch points than that to get a system in place that's consistently bringing us leads. So we want to use the group still, but we want to use them more strategically in conjunction with the funnel and the process that we're setting up. So let's say we're building our audience and we're filling it up with relevant traffic. We know that most times when we're bringing new traffic into our business and we're growing our audience with it, 9 times out of 10, they're not people that will buy right away. Unless they see a property that they fall in love with and they're ready to purchase now and they happen to be in that pocket, the chances are rare. It's more than likely going to take a few weeks to a few months for that person to find the property that they like, find a realtor that they align with, and make the purchase.
Exactly. That's how it works.
So what would be a good next step for, let's say this agent's putting up a post in this group and they're generating some traffic. What do they have right now that's missing that you can show them that they need to incorporate to capture that traffic? That kind of just gave.
I would have in the well, building a list. I would think building.
Right.
I would say building a list and serving that list with building a mailing list and serving that list with valuable things that are interesting to their target audience. So if I'm thinking back about the list that I built was, I think it was about 1,200 names, and there was, of those, about 560 people were actively opening. Not everyone, but they were at least clicked on the link, and I had a very high open rate from my list. So yeah, I would think a list is essential.
Yep. So the way we're going to say traffic here, traffic one bucket going into their world, their audience here. And then as we get them to check out our profile or come in to look at our page, check out our cover, whatever it may be, start looking at our content, the next ideal step we want to do isn't expecting them to reach out and purchase, but instead we want them to take one small step further into our world so we can allow them to get to know us, to see us as an authority, as the realtor that they want to work with. And then from there, nurture them further, start showing them properties, etc. So this is where, like you mentioned, we want to capture this lead. We want to put something relevant in front of them, something that's ideally maybe free to start, or it's a low barrier of entry for them to get more value from us, to get to know us.
There's some lead magnet, something that they can click and download, something like that.
Exactly. So in the masterclass, you would kind of be explaining this high level process and how we want to set this up, and we'll zoom out through the end, and then from there you can step into showing what this means for each part. So once they capture the lead, and this could be, we're actually going to put this up here. This could be with a Facebook group. This could be with a lead magnet. I would recommend you keep it simple to start and probably not add in unless they have their own Facebook group, I would probably just centralize it towards the lead magnet. They give your email address here. Email opt-in. Lead generated. So once they're opting in to find out more from us, now they're actually a lead, rather than just looking at everybody as a lead in this group and anybody that engages on that listing post we put up as a lead. We want to use this system to basically filter people through, because we know that, let's say 100 people see this post, and this is low volume, it's probably more like 1,000 people see the post. Let's say 15 people go check out the profile, they like the listing, they saw the post. 5 people opt into the lead magnet, and we're pulling out the best people that are showing the most interest, and we know that it's gradually going to decrease as we move further down into the funnel. We're not trying to track everyone, but we know that through this process, we're going to filter out the people that we want, that are resonating with our lead magnet we put out and getting further into our world. So lead generated here. Now, once they have this lead, they can use this to nurture the lead, which I would say for you would probably be, or for this market would probably be email. Email broadcast and follow up. what I would say for
Cool.
you, and you're like, this is where, as you're going through this process, you don't have to be showing them how to set up their email list, map out all of their emails and all these things. Like, this is where it starts to come into the benefit of like them upgrading to coaching, because maybe in your coaching program, you provide them with 10 email series templates that take new people into their world and show them who they are, what type of realtor they are, how they can help, and then recommend listings to them.
One thing that I did was when I had people when I captured the email addresses, I always said to the people that were subscribing to my link, they get the new videos first. So I would I would go on the email first, and then about 3 or 4 days later, the video would go on YouTube or on Facebook. So it would just like, I don't know, some people may be valuable, but I thought that would be just a differentiating between motivating people to sign up to the email, to the list.
Yep, I like it a lot. Ultimately, as we get people into this list, the goal is to indoctrinate the lead, to allow them to get, so this realtor can be seen as an authority, which helps drive authority agent. You're going to be sharing a series of value-based posts. And they'll be also dribbling in offers / new listings that pop up. And this can be shown that this nurturing is done through, I would say, email broadcast. And I would also say done via Facebook content. And you can show them they can essentially use some of their email content as Facebook posts. All of this has an end goal of getting this person to convert. And more than likely, the next step would be here, just moving them to a call. Apply for a meeting or schedule a meeting. And just think, like, maybe
I think
in this email series, they could even send an email out that says, I'm looking for 5 folks looking at game farms right now that want a personalized list of recommended properties based on what they're looking for. Give them a call to action to schedule a meeting. And now, as soon as that call is scheduled, this person is now a sales opportunity.
I think that is a good, that's a very interesting lead magnet, a valid one, I would say. I think.
Yeah,
it is a valid option. Yeah.
The lead magnets can even change depending on like what that realtor wants to be known as. So like you could give them in the masterclass, you're not going to be creating the lead magnet for them, so you don't have to worry about that. But I think just giving them options of like what it could look like. And this could be, let's even say, steps to finding the first game farm. I even have something else with it. Yeah, a game farm. So let's put something in here. I am a game farm agent, and I am looking to come up with an attractive lead magnet that I can use to capture audience's attention, give value to them. Boom.
Got it.
Game farm property checklist. Develop a printable checklist that potential buyers can use when evaluating game farm properties. Include essential features, considerations such as infrastructure, water resources, vegetation. Exclusive access to game farm listings. This is very much like the one that we just kind of shared, where it's like this could be dripped out later in the email series to show them, hey, if you want exclusive access to listings personalized to you, schedule a call with me here and we'll get it set up. Ultimate guide to buying a game farm, create a comprehensive ebook. And again, it doesn't have to be anything complex, but these are great ideas to get them going. And essentially all we're showing them is we want something that we can put in front of them that's relevant, that captures their attention, and it provides relevant value to where they're at in their buyer's journey. And now with this in place, once the lead magnet's set up, once they start actually getting emails in place, they may even turn this into an email automation series. That's again 5 to 10 emails that goes out automatically. They have a machine running for them. Every time they put up a post in a target Facebook group, people go back to their profile, they see their cover photo, and they see this attractive thing that's a guide checklist to getting their game farm that they're looking for. They opt in, they go through the email series, they book a call. And all the agent now has to worry about is fueling the process, bringing more people in and working to get more eyeballs on his profile, into his lead magnet, and into his funnel.
I used to, when I used Kartra, I used to have a sequence so that runs so about 5 or 6 emails that ran over about 3 weeks. So every third day or fourth day, I send it an email, and it saved me a lot of time. When every person that made and showed interest in this particular property, I just put them in the sequence for that property. So I don't have to go and reinvent the wheel all the time. Just they're in the sequence and drip feed them information about the property. And so I thought that was a way for me to make people remember who I am.
Yep, 100%. That's exactly what we're talking about here. And you can use, this is like, now we're starting to see a complete process that you can teach these agents and these people to get the system in place. And I think for you too as well, you are literally taking the same process for yourself, and you can start deploying the same thing, where maybe this week, to end the week, as you're starting to ease into talking more about this offer, you roll out a lead magnet idea where it's a one-page guide to helping game farm real estate agents develop a system that generates X amount of leads a week or X amount of leads a month. And in that guide, it could be a one-page thing that's literally showing one-pager, showing the buckets of necessary things that they need to have in place. So number one, they need a traffic source. And you can explain, most game farm real estate agents use target groups, but unfortunately they don't use the target groups correctly because they don't have any process set up in place behind it. So now you're already opening up curiosity to these people checking out this lead magnet, saying, man, how do I get this in place? Number two, they need a capture system. Number three, they need a conversion system or a nurture system. See what I'm saying here?
Yep.
All of this is exposing them to what they need in a first intro of it, giving free value. And now you're going to follow up with them a week later and invite them to join you in a masterclass where you show them how to visually do all of this.
And the way that I would deliver this, when I send it with Messenger, what would be the best way to get that message over to potential estate agent realtors?
For your offer itself?
Through my offer.
Yeah. So just like what we're seeing in this process here, we know that, like, as we even come up to this flow, the flow that runs our business is very much the same. At the core of any business, there's these core buckets of attract, which is essentially traffic, bringing new people in. Ideally, we're moving them to one capture point. We're nurturing them with more content, email follow-up, and we're converting them on the back end. So for you, when you're using your content to capture attention from these people, you can use lead magnets to capture interest that's relevant towards what you're offering. As they consume that lead magnet, as they consume your content, and they show interest, you're essentially just following up with them in Messenger and exactly like extending either a link to a page that has a video explaining the offer, or a link to a document that has a document explaining the offer. Or
I'm gonna sound like a noob, but it's so with the 4 steps there, it is I will make content speaking about that, about the 4. Say you need a capture system, you need a conversion. Is that I'm almost feel too embarrassed to ask. Is that what I would do?
Not as in a sense. So we're not essentially just like, I'm not telling you to layer in content just to tell them what they need. I'm saying that one idea to start could be you put out a lead magnet that's laying out high level what they do need, so they want to come to you on the how to implement it.
Okay.
What we're really emphasizing with our content as we progress in this launch is more of the problems that they're facing, what's missing. And like we talked on before, we come back to this document. They're not attracting consistent qualified leads and they're struggling to stand out from the crowd. You're throwing rocks at that and showing them how the reason that this is taking place is because you have no system in place behind what you're doing with your online marketing that's allowing you to actually generate consistent leads. Instead, you're spraying and praying. You're posting in target groups, hoping that people reach out to you. And your content is more so messaging around how you want to help them regain control of this process of their lead generation and show them how to create a system that consistently spits out leads.
Okay.
So it's less of us laying posts saying like, you need a capture system, you need a nurture system, you need a conversion system. It's more so showing them, hey, there's a lot of things missing right now in your process that if they were in place, you wouldn't be dealing with the problems that you're dealing with now. And I want to show you how to do it.
Because they would be people that I guess that have never heard of a conversion system or a capture system. They don't know what it is. It's unfamiliar terms to them. So I guess to talk about it immediately, conversion capture system, it's too high level. It's too, they're not there yet. So it's university level, for example, and I have to speak in grade 4 level.
Yep, and grade 4 level for like, let's say you do a live video next week. The live video could be, let's say it's on the topic of like why your game farm or why your estate agent isn't generating, or why you're not generating consistent flow of leads, or why your lead flow is inconsistent. All you could literally do is you could pull up a slide or this map like this, where you could just show this here. And you could literally talk a voiceover through this. And how you know from experience that when you were starting with game farm work and working to grow your game farm agency through online marketing, you created a Facebook profile and you were just posting listings in these groups. Then you look at the camera and you say, who here that's an agent watching this video right now is doing the same thing? They're taking new listings that they have, or they just put on the website, or they just put on the market, and they're posting them inside these groups, hoping that relevant people come to them wanting to find out more. Certain people comment and say, yes, it's me, I'm doing that now. And then this is where you can start to step in and kind of break their belief around it. You can say, although what you're doing here is on the right track and it can work, the problem is it's not favorable for you. What we're really doing here is just spraying and praying, or posting and praying, hoping that leads come to us. Instead, what if we could create a system that takes relevant, interested people here from these posts in this group and bring them into our world to allow them to get to know us, to expose them to how we can help. And in turn, develop a pipeline of people that are qualified, interested, and know how we can help, what we're all about, and want to work with us.
No, I like listening to how you explain it, because it's
hard for me to come up with it on the fly, but I'm trying to.
No, you're doing it very well. I'm just thinking, well, how the hell do you know? You've done it dozens or hundreds of times. I'm just thinking, no.
It's because the framework is the same,
how the
no matter
hell?
what we're talking on. It's just I don't know the estate agent business as well as you do.
No, you are spot on, exactly the spot on, your words, everything. I'm just thinking, how the hell am I going to remember all this? But it's all. I also didn't know how to use Kartra and all that, and I learned how to use it. So it's just a matter of, as you said, imperfect start, just get going. But I learn along the way.
Almost speaking to like a previous version of you and what you didn't realize then years ago. Yeah,
it's I'm just thinking it's tough to learn, but I'm here to learn. I want to learn. It is I like learning, and this is something new that I want to learn, and it's interesting. So yeah, I just like the way that you say it, and because it's concise, it speaks exactly to the problem, because I think the way that you said it is that people, they don't know, they know they've got a problem, but they don't know how to articulate or express the problem. But the way that you've said it is exactly speaks to the pain. And that's how I feel. I like it.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that is an easier way to explain it too is just like explaining how, like, I'm sure there's stats that you could pull in online of like how many touch points it takes for somebody to actually be open to purchasing something. And those touch points or exposures to your content, your stuff is typically like at the range of probably 30 to 50 touch points. So if they're putting up a post in a target group and that person's seeing it once, the chance of that person commenting, reaching out, ready to buy are slim to none. What we want to do is create a system of touch points.
You know, you're saying, you're once again, you're just saying something that I forgot about it. It's something I think you said it, you've said it a few weeks with me that I know things that I don't know. So just what you just mentioned there is the touch points is something that I know, but I wouldn't have said it or used it ever, I think, if you didn't say it now, because it's just things that I know I should do, but I don't know I should do it or say it.
Yep. And that's something like alone that you could kick off the entire masterclass with. It's just one slide that shows the average person. It takes the average person X amount of touch points to make a purchase or to consider making a purchase. Then slide 2 shows more than often the majority of you guys here that are in this masterclass are deploying this strategy to generate leads for your estate business. And you break down and show them how one post is one touch point. So if we know that we're only getting one touch point by just dropping listings in this group, we can't expect people to be ready to purchase or reach out to us with interest by seeing one of our things one time. To make it so we are creating a system of touch points that leads to a consistent flow of leads, there's a few things that need to be in place. And what you could do is basically to do it one slide on each of these buckets. Number one, we need to have a place that's bringing us relevant traffic. And you can show them. You guys, for the most part, depending on what you're using for groups now, have this down. You know the source for traffic to go to, but you're not looking at it as a traffic source. You're looking at it as a way to just pull out sales. And I want to challenge you to look at it differently. So if we're driving traffic from this relevant place that has a bunch of people looking for game properties, the next step we want to do is move them into our world and take them one step further into our audience. So then you show them slide 2. This is all about building our audience with this traffic. And on this slide, you could do a little mock-up to show how an ideal Facebook profile is set up with a cover that's branded, with verbiage that has a relevant freebie or giveaway that they can put in front of people. So as people check out their profile from this group, they can put in their email and find out more about what you have to offer.
Very important thing that you just mentioned there to me. It's the very relevant. It's the freebie in the profile, in the Facebook cover.
Yep.
It's a very valuable.
So I think for you, as you're presenting this, it's less of like, you don't have to show them this whole
Useful,
thing
very
in one view like this. I think it's more so.
Gonna change my headset because the batteries run out. So change.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Just a moment. Just want to switch my audio device. Speaker. Okay, no. I should hear you now. No. Microphone. Is it on? Wait a moment. I don't know.
You're all right, man.
Speakers hier, die stereo microphone. Look, what the hell is it? Wait a moment. I'm gonna. Microphone, the okay, we should be back again.
Sweet.
Okay, I can hear you. Okay, well, I'll just put it on batteries.
So as we look at this, now that we've kind of mapped out what system we're helping them get in place, and we're kind of clear on what we can cover in delivery, again, in the masterclass is essentially just making a slideshow covering this, where I think we'd be doing one slide, talk about getting the traffic piece in place, one side on audience and audience growth, how we need a capture system. And all of this comes back to covering these two pains and the solutions to these pains, where you're literally in this entire process showing them how to leverage Facebook to generate a consistent stream of, I would honestly try to put this as a number here, and I would say there's no reason you can't at least put down here 10 to 20 leads a week. Because
I think that's reasonable. That's reasonable.
The reason that we can do this is because, coming back to this process, one of the bonuses of this offer, and move my system down, Steve, later. I would say one of the bonuses of the offer is going to be an implementation checklist or a daily action plan. In the daily action plan, it's literally could just lay out a step-by-step thing. Let's say daily action plan here. That could be such as post 2 posts a week and target Facebook group. Maybe it's 1 value-based post, 1 post in the listing. We know that if your people consistently show up, once they have their profile set up, their cover set up, their lead magnet set up, if they're staying consistent with posting in these groups, they're going to likely get a consistent flow of 50 people, 100 people a week coming back to check out their profile, which will all lead to 10 to 20 people that come through that opt in.
Sounds ridiculous. It's just realistic. Because as I said, I did when I posted in my spray and pray method, I did get 2 calls a day, 1 or 2, but it could be up to 2 phone calls per day.
And that's, and remember, like I would look at calls as more of like a sales opportunity. We're looking at leads as simply people that are opting in for their freebie and taking 1 step into their world. So it's a much, like, we're not promising here 10 booked calls a week, 10 sales a week. We're just basically promising 10 leads a week to give them the opportunity to get them in their system and lead towards a book call down the line.
You know, yeah, and what I did later on, well, in the last few phases was I took out my phone number. I didn't put my phone number in there because I wanted people to opt into the mailing list and go through that way. So sort of like force them to sign into my mailing list. But yeah, this is a much better way. Yeah, it's the end of at the end of the day, also I wanted to have less phone calls, less calls. Only if it was a phone call, it would be, it's where we are leading now, you know, where you're going to, where you showed where in the diagram is at the end of the day, the phone call is the booking, is the appointment. It is where
That's the end goal.
the qualified lead calls and make an appointment. That's it. They've seen everything. They've liked what they see. They've gone. They've become a loyal follower. And at the end of the day, it's a phone call to for a meeting.
Yep. 100%. You feeling more clear on how you're going to deliver this now?
Yeah, I feel a lot clearer. Yeah, it's just
Now what I'd like to see you do is take this, and I'd like to see you come back to this sheet. You can make a copy of it if you want, but I'd like to see you start fresh in these boxes with what we've clarified today, and keep these boxes as simple as possible. So with the why you're doing it here, this is more so going to be, why did you decide to share this with these agents? Because, for example, you once were doing the same thing they were doing, posting, praying, hoping for leads to come. And you now want to show agents how to avoid that and take control. That's something that's going to resonate with them.
those are a couple of those. That sentence is going to is like it's a 100-pound hammer, or whatever, 100 kilogram hammer hitting on the spot.
And this fits perfectly in your backstory and how this came to be. You talk all about how your whole story of how you would used to make a video, share it across 300 groups, and you had to wait 3 months to 6 months just for opportunities to come to you. But now that you understand how to use Facebook correctly, you realize it did not have to be that way and it did not have to take that long. And that's why you want to share this masterclass with them today, to show them how to, again, regain that control. So everything's starting to kind of mesh together when we're thinking about how all this connects in this way. And I want to see you make this document just more simple and clear with what we've clarified today. And then from here, we can start in this document as well, laying out what the bonuses are, which we have listed at the bottom. And we look back at this map, we just laid out what one bonus could be. I think another bonus is going to be personal one-to-one Loom implementation video, where you basically give them a personal private Loom video, showing them how to implement what you talked on and what you shared with them in this masterclass. From reviewing their profile to talking on their lead magnet, setting all this up. That will be one bonus. Another relevant bonus could be, we know we're showing them how to incorporate a lead magnet. Maybe it's a list of 25 proven lead magnet ideas. Something that could be easily generated with ChatGPT. Ideas flowing? I'd like to see you walk away from this call, man. Actually, can you still hear me?
I still, yeah, I still hear.
Okay, cool. I didn't know if you're still here. Walking away from this call, feeling much more clear on the offer, working to now polish this offer, set it in stone so we can get going on promotion. But I think really stepping into starting to talk towards these people. I think you know what these people are experiencing, you know from your own experience. And now it's showing them that their system could be better with your help. What's missing right now, what's not working right now, and how that can be changed with your support.
Yeah, it's you've articulated very well about the pains, and yeah, and you've simplified the way that I can say it. It's yeah.
What if to kick things off, you plan to live next week as your lead magnet to start generating interest on this, and you do a live that's around what we talked on before, where we're just kind of shifting their belief around this not being the solution. And
that sounds good.
The live could be topic like the 4 things you need to generate a consistent flow of leads for your game farm estate business. And you could literally just talk through what they're currently doing now and how it's not working. And this is because they only have one of the 4 things. They have the traffic source, but they don't have these other 3 things. And at the end, you could drop a call to action for those that would like to learn more on how to install these 4 things into their business and create a system that allows them to not have to spray and pray and hope for leads to come to them, and instead take control. Comment X below, and I'll share the details on the upcoming workshop that I'm hosting here in the coming weeks, etc.
Well, That sounds doable. I mean, because it will be the first time it looks like a mountain. But once once you do it enough, if I do it enough,
How can I make it less of a mountain for you?
no, it's me. The problem, it's I'm the mountain, so I have to I'm the mountain that I have to climb myself. So I have to get over it.
But we can keep it simple though, man. We know at the end of the day, all that's left from here is to refine and polish the offer.
You know what I'm saying is I'm just looking. I'm always looking. When I'm looking at, Alan. Alan is what I've seen from him. He's a very good example. I mean, I'm not sure if I should say, but to me, it looks like he's straight, narrow, simple. He doesn't talk about 20,000 different things. He's straight, and I think that's just easier to, I don't know what to say. It is he's narrow and simplified. That's it.
But even he has distractions that come up. Like he just messaged me this week actually and asked me. So he's selling his coaching offer, as you know, and he's been very focused on that. But he found that a lot of his students are joining this program called 7-Figure Something. That's about Facebook reel content, Facebook story content, and they're doing really well with it. And again, this stays privately between you and I, but the point is he reached out to me and said, hey, Blake, I got my students that are in this program. They're crushing it. They're making sales. And I feel like I'm missing out on money by not being in this program as well. He's like, I want to actually promote this program too, but I don't want to confuse my audience of my coaching offer. So you can tell like that this was a shiny object that popped up in his journey that may have felt like, yeah, it's a good opportunity to make money. Other people are making money with it. But at the end of the day, when I replied back to him, I reminded him of the core of the fact that what he's doing right now is for the long term of his brand and his future with his products. And if he starts to step in and just promote other affiliate products that are related to what he teaches, is going to confuse his audience and is going to instead pull away from his coaching offer and his authority there. And what the best thing you can do is stay focused on his stuff, knowing that he's building that for the long term.
Exactly, like I feel like my brother with his $1 million commission on a if I just think about it, it's shiny object syndrome. So I'm doing here this thing, and if if this is what I want to do, and just stay on this one, not looking at all those shining things over there. Stay with one thing.
Yep. And we got one thing right now, and that's number one, this. And I'd like to challenge you to have this finalized by the end of this weekend. So we're going to take what we went over today. You watch the replay. We come back to this offer doc template, simplify it, clean up what was in there before that was unnecessary, focus just on the problems that we solidified today and the plan that we solidified today. And from here, the only other two things that you're focused on doing are publishing content and connecting with relevant prospects. As we get the offer done by next week, let's say timeline here. Let's say timeline, offer complete by, let's say May 15th. We're not going to be going right into promo mode. What we want to do is start chipping away at our audience, gradually talking more and more about this opportunity that's coming. So the way I look at it, I'm going to send you a training that breaks this down as 3 phases.
Cool.
And it's like what I went over on the goal training at 6FA last week. We're first going to start to build interest, build attention around this thing, throwing rocks at their system, how they're spraying and praying, etc. Then we're going to hype, do a week where we actually start teasing and saying, hey, I'm coming out with something new next week, opening up an opportunity soon. And then we're going to do 1 week of launch, where we just talk about our offer being open, the number of spots that we have. I don't want you to worry about anything in advance other than one thing at a time. And I think right now it's making sure that this is knocked out by the weekend. And all you're doing in the meantime is still proactively connecting with prospects and starting to ease into publishing content around these problems.
Cool.
That
Oh,
sound good?
thank you. That sounds good. Thank you. Thank you, Blake. Sounds good.
So I want to see you report back with your offer template laid out with the bonuses that you had in mind, with the ideas that came in today. Share that in the chat with us. Mike's gonna go over and help you polish that offer and turn it into a document, a video next. And then we're gonna come and spend a lot more time talking on the hype and launch phase next of things. So don't sweat on that. All I want to see you do is just continue with forward motion with content. I'm gonna send you a training video in the meantime. We're knocking out the one project of the offer, knowing that Mike's gonna help you review that next week. And we're gonna rock and roll from there.
Cool, cool. Thank you very much. Thank you, Blake. Cool. Thank you.
Any
Super
questions
helpful.
I can cover for you in closing today?
No, if there's anything I can think of, I'll speak to you. It's just in the support hub. That's okay with you.
Yep. What's 1 to 2 things you're committed to doing by the end of this week?
I think it's update my offer, the writing out and creating one piece of content related to the offer, or the proto offer, or I think that would be doable.
Yep. And one way that you could even ease into like simplifying your content for the next week could be, maybe as you're working on the offer this week, thinking about what you're talking on in that, you pick one live video that you're going to host next Wednesday, and maybe it's on 4 steps generating consistent flow of leads for your game estate agent. And you just use your content up until next Wednesday to hype up that training. Get some interest and eyeballs to watch that free video. And then you're going to message all those people afterwards as we progress with the offer of the workshop.
Cool. It's fortunately I'm the owner. I'm on the one Facebook group that I'm the owner. So everybody that advertises are estate agents. So I can advertise. I can publish in my own group that I'm the owner of. So nobody can ban me from their group. But it's not necessarily all the correct, the ideal audience in there. But it's nobody can ban me from that group or say that
Yep. And it's a hub you can bring new leads into, just like you're teaching people.
Cool. Anyway, thank you very much, Blake. If there's anything, I usually think about questions after the call,
No
or
worries,
after
man.
I've spoken.
I know we went over a lot today. I'll let you absorb it. In the meantime, let's just make sure that you have this map. So I'm going to just drop this to you quick so you can open this up on your end.
Okay.
And then I'll get the recording loaded up in your folder here in the next few hours.
Okay, let me just get that. I think copy, got it. Just make sure copy and paste that. Just make sure that I've got it in my browser, or I'll click on it. Okay, it's opening. Got it.
All right, man. Let's get to work. Looking forward to an update soon. Once you report back, I'll let Mike know that he's going to plan to get a call set with you next week to review the refined version of the offer template, and then convert that into an official document from there. And then we'll pick up and talk on content launch in my next call.
Cool. Thank you very much, Blake, and wishing you and the dogs and the family a prosperous day there.
Thank you, man. Same to you and your family, and looking forward to talking soon.
Okay, speak to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
See you, Grove.